Hello, my wonderful, amazing artists. It's me, Miss Abby, your art teacher, and today we're creating comics. Now, comics are stories told through pictures. And we see comics all around us. A comic can be about any subject. We've got Dog Man, Captain Underpants, but you can make a comic and all the superheroes comics, but you can make a comic about any story you would want to hear. And you'll notice comics are a little different. Here's an example of a comic. Comics are a little different than a typical illustrated book. Like, that's different than, say, Beautiful Oops, right? A comic has a couple things. Comic has two things that are kind of unique about them that I want to focus on today. The first one is the panels. Usually if you see a comic, it's moments in the story are divided into little boxes. Like in this one I made, I started by drawing some boxes for the story. That was the first thing I did, was draw this line and this line to divide my paper into different moments for my story. The second thing is speech balloons. See here, you can see the word zap and I feel funny. Those tell us how the story sounds, whether someone's talking or yelling, if there's a crash or a boom or a zap or anything like that. That's called dialogue in a story, when people are talking to each other. So those are two elements that are really special about comic drawing. Now, your art challenge for today is to try drawing a comic of your own. And it can be about anything, any character. It can be about any kind of character. It can be about an animal, a person, a magic person. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you think you're good at drawing, I recommend starting there. And remember, comics can be pretty simple. Charlie Brown and Snoopy are both like pretty simple characters, and comic artists do that because they have to draw the characters over and over again. So they keep it pretty simple, which is awesome. So, let's get started. For this project, I recommend starting with pencil, then going with your coloring tools. If you have a ruler or something else that is kind of straight, like maybe like a piece of cardboard, a book, a magazine, that might be handy too. Okay, so the first thing I do if I am creating a comic is that I like to draw in my boxes. And a line down the middle. So we've got our verticals, now we're doing horizontals. And now I have some squares that I can fill with my story. And I am just gonna make up a story on the spot because I didn't really have any ideas. But you can do that. You can tell a story that you know really well, like retelling like something that happened to you, or your favorite movie story or fairy tale, or something funny that happened in your life. Or you can just make it up. I think I'm going to start with some characters. I think I'm going to start with drawing a possum, because I saw one, was just the last animal I saw. And think about a story that has to do with the most. Actually, I think I'm going to do a story with very simple characters because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I want to get it really right. So I'm going to tell a story with some very simply designed characters and use really bright colors. Ta-da! Here's my comic all penciled in. And I found it really challenging at first. I didn't really come into it with an idea. And so I thought about something I look at every day and something I draw all the time. And I'm always drawing cats. And I have a cat named Norma. And I thought I could tell a fun story about her. And so I made one about her thinking about fish. Maybe she's hungry for fish, and she goes and looks in her water bowl, in the sink, in the kitchen, plays with a fish-shaped toy, and then she finally finds some goldfish crackers and eats those. And then she falls asleep thinking yummy with a full tummy. So now I'm going to use a black marker to do all of the outlines. And I recommend for when you make your comic to use a pencil first, then erase because you can erase a pencil, right? But you cannot erase a black marker. Professional comic artists actually use like a light blue or a light yellow colored pencil, and then they cover it over with markers and the colorful tools, the colorful inks. And we're following in that style today. We're making art just like the pros by doing pencil first, then doing our marker or crayon or black colored pencil, whatever you like using best later. Okay, so this is pretty cool, but I think I want to add some color. So first I'm going to erase all of the little scratchy lines, like right here. And then I'm going to grab my markers and add some, markers and add some color to this picture. Ta-da, here's my comic. And I really slowed down and tried my best. And by the time this is the first cat I did. By the time I got over here, I could pretty much draw this cat in my sleep because practice makes growth, right? And one thing that I worked really hard at was that I was layering my markers. I drew with pencil, then I did the outline, then I erased. And I tried using lots of zigzaggy lines with my markers because my cat's very furry and soft. And I tried to communicate that. And it really made me a better artist. I also layered my markers because my cat Norma she has like a mottled color on her. And so I had to think about how she's not one color. Most animals are not really one color, especially if you want to give them a soft texture. It's usually like some shades of light and dark. And so I added that to give it some texture so that you could look at this comic and feel like you could reach out and touch her tail and know how it felt, that it felt soft. So here's one of my comics. Let me show you another one. This is another one. This one is a little quicker. I'm not quite finished with it yet. I want to add more color. But because it's 4 panels, it's like a little quicker. It's an eel minding his own business. Then we have a thunderstorm at the ocean. Then the eel gets zapped. And then he's spraying out electricity because he's now an electric eel. And he says, "I feel funny." So those are 2 different comics I created. And I got inspired by animals both times, but if animals aren't your thing that you like drawing, maybe draw a person or your favorite superhero or an alien. And remember, artists that draw comics like Mo Willems and Stan Lee, they really think about drawing, and George Schultz, who does the Snoopy comics, they all kind of do really simple pictures that they can draw over and over again. That's really different than when we're drawing like a big detailed portrait or something. And that's part of the fun. Give it a try. You can even do a comic inspired by some of your favorite comics, like Elephant and Piggy or Calvin and Hobbes. Give it a try. I would love to see you try creating a comic. Take it on. It's an amazing challenge. And after you do it, you'll feel like you're a really talented artist. Bye. Have fun making art.